Psychic damage is real. It's the unseen injury that affects the mind and spirit. Unlike physical wounds, psychic damage can be hard to see, but it's just as debilitating. It can cause emotional distress, anxiety, and fear. It can disrupt lives and relationships. Psychic damage can stem from traumatic experiences. These experiences can be sudden and shocking, like violence or accidents. They can also be slow and insidious, like emotional abuse or neglect. Regardless of the source, psychic damage leaves its mark on the individual. The impact of psychic damage can be profound. It can affect every aspect of a person's life, from their work, to their relationships, to their sense of self. It's a silent epidemic, often misunderstood and ignored. It's time to shine a light on this invisible injury and recognize the very real impact it has on individuals and society. Imagine someone constantly bombarding you with negative energy. You might feel drained, exhausted. That's psychic energy being taken, penny by penny. Each negative thought, each harmful intention, it adds up. This isn't about actual money, it's about the value of your well-being. Now imagine this happening on a massive scale. Millions, billions of these negative transactions occurring daily. The accumulation of this negative psychic energy creates a debt that needs to be addressed, to be balanced. This is where the analogy of pennies comes in. Each tiny instance of psychic harm might seem insignificant on its own, but when you add them up, the sum becomes staggering. This psychic debt doesn't disappear. It lingers, impacting individuals and society. It's a debt that demands attention, a reckoning. Our understanding of the human experience is evolving. We're starting to see the connections between our biology, technology, and the law. Psychic phenomena, once relegated to the fringes, are now being examined through these lenses. Biologically, our brains are incredibly complex. New research suggests we might be more sensitive to energy and frequencies than we realize. This opens up the possibility that we can be affected by unseen forces, both positive and negative. Technologically, we're surrounded by devices emitting electromagnetic fields. Some argue these fields could be disrupting our natural energy, contributing to psychic distress. This raises questions about the unintended consequences of our technological advancements. Legally, we're grappling with how to define and address psychic harm. If someone experiences demonstrable harm from psychic attacks or energetic manipulation, shouldn't there be legal recourse? The intersection of bio, tech, and law is crucial for navigating the complexities of psychic phenomena. As our understanding grows, so too must our legal and ethical frameworks. Why would someone demand $1 quadrillion from the US Treasury for psychic damage? It seems outrageous, impossible. But let's shift our perspective for a moment. The US government represents the collective. It's entrusted with the well-being of its citizens. If a significant portion of the population suffers from unrecognized psychic harm, doesn't the government bear some responsibility? The $1 quadrillion figure is symbolic. It represents the immeasurable scope of the issue. It's a wake-up call, a demand for acknowledgement and action. Some might argue that psychic damage is too subjective, too difficult to quantify, but the same could have been said about emotional distress or psychological trauma in the past. This isn't about seeking an impossible sum of money, it's about demanding recognition, resources, and research into a phenomenon that can no longer be ignored. Psychic damage doesn't respect borders. It's a global phenomenon with far-reaching consequences. The negativity and harm inflicted on one individual can ripple outwards, impacting families, communities, and even entire nations. Imagine a world where psychic attacks are used as weapons, where fear and anxiety are deliberately cultivated. This isn't science fiction, it's a disturbing possibility that must be considered. The international community needs to acknowledge the potential threat of psychic warfare and develop safeguards against it. This includes promoting psychic well-being, researching defensive measures, and establishing international legal frameworks for addressing psychic harm. The cost of neglecting psychic damage is far greater than any monetary sum. It's a threat to global peace and security, a silent epidemic with the potential to destabilize the world. For too long, psychic damage has been dismissed as fantasy or delusion. But the experiences of countless individuals tell a different story. People from all walks of life report feeling drained, manipulated, or harmed by unseen forces. We need to approach claims of psychic damage with empathy and open-mindedness. This doesn't mean accepting every claim at face value. It means listening to individuals, validating their experiences, and seeking to understand the root causes of their suffering. Science might not yet have all the answers when it comes to psychic phenomena, but our lack of understanding shouldn't be a barrier to compassion or a reason to dismiss the very real suffering of individuals. Recognizing the reality of psychic injury is the first step towards finding solutions and providing support for those who need it most. As our understanding of psychic phenomena evolves, so too must our legal systems. We need to develop new frameworks for addressing psychic harm, both in terms of compensation and prevention. This could involve creating specialized courts or mediation boards equipped to handle cases of alleged psychic attack or energetic manipulation. It might also involve establishing legal precedents for psychic self-defense and the ethical use of psychic abilities. Prevention is just as important as compensation. We need to educate the public about psychic hygiene, energetic boundaries, and the potential risks of engaging in practices that can leave one vulnerable to psychic attack. The future of psychic law is about creating a just and equitable system that recognizes the unseen dimensions of human experience and protects individuals from harm. The debate surrounding psychic phenomena often gets caught between the realms of science and spirituality. Skeptics demand concrete proof, while believers point to personal experiences and ancient wisdom. Bridging this gap is crucial for advancing our understanding of psychic phenomena. We need rigorous scientific research that explores the possibilities of energy fields, subtle energies, and the impact of intention on living organisms. At the same time, we need to acknowledge the limitations of the scientific method and be open to exploring alternative ways of knowing. This includes learning from spiritual traditions, indigenous knowledge systems, and the lived experiences of psychically sensitive individuals. By bridging the divide between science and spirituality, we can create a more holistic understanding of psychic phenomena and their impact on individuals and society. The first step towards addressing any problem is acknowledging its existence. Psychic damage is real, and it's time we start treating it with the seriousness it deserves. This requires a shift in perspective, a willingness to look beyond the material world and acknowledge the unseen dimensions of human experience. It requires empathy for those who suffer from psychic attacks, energetic manipulation, and other forms of psychic harm. We need to create a culture of support and understanding, where individuals feel safe coming forward with their experiences without fear of judgment or ridicule. We need to educate ourselves about psychic hygiene, energetic boundaries, and the importance of protecting our own psychic well-being. By approaching psychic damage with compassion and a genuine desire to understand, we can create a world where everyone feels safe, supported, and empowered to thrive in all aspects of their being.